Well. I think we've just learnt how quickly things can change in football. I was just very happy after watching Chelsea win 3-0, getting ready to go to the gym, and suddenly here I am filming a video. The gym will have to wait because the breaking news is Ange Postecoglou has been sacked as Nottingham Forest manager. I think the moment we saw Marinakis out of his chair, there were rumours that he'd gone to go get the early bird deal at the Harvester. Turns out he was waiting downstairs for Ange Postecoglou to come back inside, and he was immediately fired. I mean, the timing of it is very interesting. Even when Russell Martin lost 5-0 to Spurs as Southampton manager, he at least had a couple hours first to go down and say goodbye before they announced the sacking. Today, after just 20 minutes, Nottingham Forest have posted that he has been fired. We can see that here. It literally was about 20 minutes after the full-time whistle that they posted this statement, and it's very damning of the club, and I think Marinakis has a lot to hold his hands up to, because you cannot have an owner that involved in the club when everything's done on reaction. I mean, he's so impulsive. We saw that with Nuno. There was obviously some kind of issue going on behind the scenes with him, hence the signing of Ange Postecoglou as their new manager, and it just really hasn't worked out. I mean, the one thing you can say about Ange is that he's consistent, and that is consistently 17th. They sit 17th in the league at the moment, same position where they finished with Spurs last season, but it's not a good place to be. And we've seen in his press conferences as well, he's been quite fiery, but there's been a lot of stats, a lot of signs that this was coming. I don't think anyone can say we're too surprised. The boos at full time from the Forest fans kind of summed everything up. It just wasn't working. So we've got a lot to discuss today, but very briefly, this is just a very quick reaction video. I've not broken down tactics. I will have a look at who future managers might be. We'll have a look at that. Have a look how Nottingham Forest might set up. But this is very reactionary. Just highlighting a few signs that I think we could have seen this coming. So for starters, I mean, the numbers are just shocking. When we look at them here, I mean, Ange Postecoglou was in charge for 8 games in 39 days. And we've had international breaks over that time as well, obviously. In them 8 games, he's drawn 2 and lost 6. I mean, that says it all already. They lost to Swansea in the Cup. I think that was already a very big moment after being 2-1 up. They lost 3-2, conceding 2 goals in the last couple of minutes. That was very... I think that was foreshadowing everything to come. 1 point so far in the Europa League, and that was a draw to Betis. I mean, they looked really good that day, and they still managed to concede twice and only get a point out of that. And they've conceded 18 goals. In 8 games, they've conceded 18 goals, scored 7. I think that's really concerning for them. The fact that they're conceding so many goals, it doesn't matter that they're scoring 2 or 3 goals a game even, because they're conceding more than that every time, which is really poor. Defensively, they have been shocking. And I want to show you this. 10 set-piece goals conceded under Ange Postecoglou, twice as many as any other Premier League club in that time. I mean, mate, quite literally. I think that says it all as well, doesn't it? He conceded 3 of the goals today. Each of Chelsea's goals came as a result from a set-piece. The first one was a second phase of it, fair enough, but still, second phase, Neto puts the cross in, Achampong free header. Second goal, it was pretty much a free shot from Pedro Neto outside the box, nice free kick. Maybe a mistake from Sells, he should have done better, but still conceded from a set piece. Final goal, ball comes in from Esteval, Sells doesn't deal with it, falls to Reece James, and that's 3-0. Each of them coming from a set piece. If you secure the set piece side of the game, they might look a bit better, but I think what you really have to look at is Ange Postecoglou has always said he will stick to his philosophy. That's great, and I advocate for that, actually. I'm a big fan of the likes of Russell Martin, of Ange, because I like that when they have a belief, they stick to it. What you have to understand, though, is that it doesn't always work. And we can see that. I mean, this stat here, it shows. This is the average length of goal kicks this season. As you can see, Nottingham Forest ranked 19th in terms of only Brighton play their goal kick shorter on an average basis. That just shows that they're so adamant on playing out from the back. And it's just not working. We saw it under Spurs as well. He likes to invert them fullbacks. He likes to really go for it. He's very reluctant to sit deep or just see a game out. He doesn't like that. And I like that he has that intent, but it's not always the right decision. And similarly, I mean, goal scoring has been such a big problem as well. 7 goals in 8 games. Maybe you could look at that and go, that's okay. I mean, they've not kept a clean sheet. They've not scored any goals enough to win them the games. I mean, how can you score 2 against Swansea and still lose the game? I don't know. But we can see here, this is really interesting. This is how many passes into the final third have been made. Nottingham Forest rank first in the league. No team has made more passes into the attacking third than Nottingham Forest. Now, obviously, this is also including time where Nuno was there. This is this season so far, but the fact that they've got so many passes in the final third, when you then look at the goal-creating actions they've got from them passes, from them carries into the final third, they've only got 10 goal-creating actions from them positions. And that's really concerning as well when you've got the likes of Chris Wood, when you've got the likes of Awoniyi, Jesus, all these players that are good at putting the ball in the back of the net. I mean, Solanke struggled at Spurs. Chris Wood has now struggled at Forest after having the best season of his life last year. He's killed him off almost. I don't know how he's done it, but he's managed it. And I think that also goes to show that not only can they not defend, they're struggling to score. Today against Chelsea was a different thing. I think entirely it was down to the players today. It didn't look like they wanted to. The second half was poor. The second half was the problem. The first half, I actually think Ange set them up really well. They went man-to-man. They were intense. They were trying to force Chelsea into mistakes. Chelsea matched that 5-3-2 by going to a 2-3-5 build-up shape, and Nottingham Forest actually played them off the park. They won the XG game today as well. I think they created something like 2.75 XG, around that kind of number, and they couldn't score. I mean, that Jesus chance, that Nico Williams chance, how they didn't score either of them is really... it just sums it all up, doesn't it? And the set pieces are really concerning. I think that was a massive part of the game that was really costing them. If they could secure that up a bit sooner, I think they'd be fine. But then we have to start questioning Ange Postecoglou's influence on this team as well. It didn't look like they've been turning up for him recently. That's immediately a concern. After 40 days, if your players are downing tools already, something's going wrong. And since the start of the 2023-24 season, no manager has seen their side concede more goals in the opening 10 minutes of the second half than Ange Postecoglou with 16. Whatever's happening in the first half, somehow all their hard work gets undone within the first 10 minutes of the second half. Chelsea scored twice in that period today. The game changes. And you could see the moment that second goal went in from Pedro Neto, Ange Postecoglou's heart just sank, and I think he knew in that moment that that's his time up. And you've got to feel for him. 8 games is not a lot, but also you can't lose all 8 games. I mean, I think it was coming, and we knew it was coming. So either way, I mean, he couldn't even settle on a style. He couldn't settle on a tactics. He started the first game against Arsenal in a 4-2-3-1. They lost 3-0. He's finished today in a 5-2-3, or a 5-3-2, sorry, and they lost 3-0. So regardless of what he did as well, today was the best game, but they still couldn't finish it off. They still couldn't even score a goal against a very weakened Chelsea defence. I think that just sums everything up. As for replacements, I think that's where the big talking point comes in. I mean, who are we looking at? I think the main person that everyone's talking about is Sean Dyche. I think it's the obvious choice as well. You saw a very defensively minded coach in Nuno. He did very well with this set of players, and then they try and go pragmatic with Ange, and it just doesn't work. This group of players isn't set up for that. We know that they're good at defending, and Ange Postecoglou has almost decided that he's going to completely disregard defending and just go for attacking football. That works. When it works, that's great. You score loads of goals. But when it doesn't, you get bombarded the other end, and it doesn't work. Sean Dyche will come in and shore that up a lot better. We saw it at Everton. We've seen it at Burnley. He's capable of doing that. I don't think he's going to come in. Personally, I think he's the one that they're going to go for. And I think that'll be a good setup. I think that'll be a good agreement. Whether that's on a long-term contract or whether that's just till the end of the season, I don't know. But we're going to do a video on how Sean Dyche will line up at Nottingham Forest, provided that happens. We'll have a look at that. Stay tuned for that. I think I think it's just a shambles at the moment. When you've got an owner like Marinakis who gets so involved, I mean, we saw it with Nuno as well. He would walk onto the pitch and start arguing with the manager on the pitch. You can't do that. You can't have an owner he's that involved. It doesn't work. And it obviously hasn't worked this time either. Let me know, what do you guys think? Was this the right decision? Probably yes. But what do you think? Do you think he should have been given a bit more time? And who do you think is going to come in as the replacement? Do you think it's Sean Dyche? Or do you think that there is some other curveball that might come in? Let me know down below. Very reactionary video, and we'll probably do a bit more of an analysis soon. But I just wanted to get this out, my initial thoughts, and just kind of justify why I think this decision has been made. But why I also... Was it the right decision for me personally? No, I think he should have got a bit more time. But also, what's the point of delaying it if there's not even... Today was the first sign of an improvement. And if it's taken 8 games to make a first impression, that's not great. But maybe you could have said, based on today's performance, you give them a couple more games. At least give him the midweek game against Porto. But they can't afford to lose that, really. Not with the start they've had in the Europa League. So... it makes sense. I think the timing of it's a bit interesting. 20 minutes after the full-time whistle is interesting. But either way, Ange Postecoglou sacked. Wonder what's going to happen to him now. Will he take a break? I don't think English football is for him anymore. I think he's kind of run his course here. But my final sentence, my final conclusion is, mate, it had to happen.